Yo, how's everyone doing today? It's your boy Airboy, and I'm back doing another FanBoy review, and this time I'm taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 Collection Blurr and the Transformers Shattered Glass Blurr. So, before we take a look at the figures, we'll take a look at their individual boxes, starting with the Velocitron Blurr. As you can see, very nice little box. Open window. Personally, I hate the new open windows on the new figures, but what can you do? Very nice image there of Blurr. This side of the box, underside, top side, and that does it for that box. And Shattered Glass Blurr's box. You see Shattered Glass, Blurr. The side of the box, the same image of Blurr. The side of the box, Blurr again. This side of the box, product shots with Blurr. And a bio. If you want to read it, go ahead right now. And that does it for the box. On to the main event. Here are the two new Blurrs. Now, I'm reviewing these figures together for one reason only. Despite their differences, they share the exact same design as the 86 Studio Series Blurr I reviewed a little while ago. So, with the exception of a paint job and a few sculpting differences in the parts, they are more or less the exact same figure. So we're going to take a look at each of them individually and compare them to the first Blurr I took a look at, starting with the Shattered Glass version, because it's closest to the original Blurr. As you can see, a lot of similarities, but a lot of major differences. And again, Shattered Glass is the parallel universe where the roles of Autobot and Decepticon are reversed. In the Shattered Glass universe, Blurr is a bounty hunter, I think. And instead of speaking like a fast auctioneer, he speaks in long, elegant sentences. Here's the underside. Top of the vehicle. Now, there are no wheels or anything, so none of these figures can roll. And here's the Velocitron Blurr. Now, this particular Blurr uses the IDW design for its concept, and I love the IDW comic designs, and Blurr is no exception. I do hope they make more. I think I will crank up the lighting just a little. There we go. And yeah, out of all the three that I have, I favor this one. I'll probably end up selling this one or giving it to a friend. Here's IDW Blurr compared to the G1 style Blurr. The underside. And again, these aren't actual wheels, they don't roll, they're just sculpted in. And for some other comparisons, here they are next to the Generations Warpath from 2007, I believe. You can get a sense how that works. Here they are next to the Earthrise, or wait, no, I'm sorry, Studio Series Perceptor from the 86 movie. And here they are next to the Netflix Soundwave. And these guys come with the exact same accessories that the 86 movie Blurr came from, or came with. A rifle and a welder. These are the ones that belong to the Shattered Glass Blurr. They are done in a gray plastic. I'm going to turn the light on just so you can get a better view of what I'm looking at. There we go. As you can see, it's fairly nicely sculpted. I believe it is very reminiscent to the G1 rifle. And here's the welder. And here's the ones that come with the Velocitron IDW Blurr. I'm just going to refer to it as IDW Blurr. It's done in a light blue instead of gray. Same deal with the welder. And they can store on the vehicle mode. I'm only going to show it with one of them, but it works the same way with all of them. Rifle. Oh, wait. How do you store these? I totally forget. I believe you want to attach the rifle first, and then the welder like that. Actually, is that the same way it works with all of them? I don't recall it being that way. Okay, no it is. Okay. So if you want to, you can store it on them like that, but that just looks dumb. So whenever I have them in vehicle mode, I just leave the weapons off. And that pretty much does it for the vehicle mode. Now, their transformations, as far as I know, are exactly the same. I know for a fact that one is exactly the same as the 86 Blurr, so if you want to know how that one transforms, watch the 86 Blurr review. As for this one, I'm pretty sure it's also the same. If there are any differences, I will point them out. And here we are. I'm going to turn that off, because that sun is shining bright enough in here already. Alright, here we have the two Blurrs in their robot mode. And surprise, surprise, there is no difference in any of their transformations. Alright. Now, we're going to go over the visual differences again. Starting with Shattered Glass Blurr. Next to his G1 counterpart. As you can see, these two share the most similarity in terms of design. Like, the only difference between these two is the color schemes in their face design. So I rotate it around here. Take a good look at the back. The legs. One thing I like about this particular Blurr design is it's a fairly clean transformation. Like, that vehicle part on the back really isn't that bad. It doesn't stick out too far. The only real obnoxious part is the bits on the arms. But it doesn't take much to, you know, get over them. Alright, so that's Shattered Glass Blurr. And here is Velocitron / IDW Blurr. As you can see, he is a much brighter color. I gotta readjust the light here just barely. Take a good look here at the differences. The same basic design, but he's got a lot of different molded in details. It's a heavy remold. In fact, I think the legs are the only part of them that are the same. Okay, let's take a better look at them individually. You can see how good they look. As you can see, Shattered Glass Blurr has an eye patch. And you can't really tell because it's behind that purple windshield, or behind that yellow windshield, but there is a purple Autobot logo. Because, you know, he's from the evil universe. I very much like that. Out of all three of these Blurrs, though, I think this one is my favorite. If only because I really dig the IDW designs. Like, I really love that head sculpt. It just seems very fitting for Blurr. I wish the eyes were maybe a darker shade of blue, but other than that, I don't really have a problem with it. All in all, very good looking figures, the both of them, but this one is my favorite. Now, as far as posability goes, it's pretty much the same as the 86 Blurr. I'll show it off anyway. The head, not a lot of wiggle room. Is this one any better? Nah, not really. It's pretty much the same. Okay, so the head is on a ball joint, but you don't get that much up and down or side-to-side movement. You can look all the way around, though. The arms are on a soft ratchet, go all the way around, then go out that far, bicep swivel, 90-degree elbow bend, maybe just slightly over. The hands do rotate, but this whole section of the vehicle has to move with it in order to do so. There is waist articulation, hips, or legs can go up that high, then go back all the way. You can do full splits, thigh swivel, and 90-degree knee bend. The feet can't really move down, but they can move up, do the transformation, and there is some decent and there's some decent ankle tilt. So you can get some pretty good looking poses out of these guys. I mean, that looks pretty good. And naturally, if you want, you can give them their weapons. Now you can store them, I believe. Oop. The welder stores back here. You just gotta squeeze it in there. Oh, I was doing it backwards. Like that. And, well, for the regular version of the mold, you would just be able to slide the gun in the backpack, but there isn't enough of a gap in the IDW version to do that, so I don't really think there's anywhere you could store the gun, so I guess he just has to hold it. Not that I have any problem with that. I prefer my figures holding their weapons anyway. I'll go ahead and give him the welder. Alright, let's get the robot mode comparisons out of the way. Bippity boppity. I'm not going to finish that sentence. You saw how they look next to Blurr, so here they are next to the 86 movie Perceptor. See, Perceptor's just a little bit taller than they are. Here they are next to the old Generations Warpath. See, Warpath, more or less the same size. Turn that back up, there we go. And last but not least, here they are next to Netflix Soundwave. Now I got my Soundwave decked out in repro labels. And I think that pretty much covers it for these two. Now, as they stand, they are approximately 5.5 inches. And at the time of release, they're both going for about $20 to $30. Anywhere between $20 or $30, depending on where you get them. Right now, I believe that the IDW Blurr, or Velocitron Legacy Blurr, whatever you want to call it, is available in most retail stores right now. That's where I found this guy at my local Walmart, but you can also find him on Hasbro Pulse. And as for the Shattered Glass Blurr, I believe he's only available exclusively online. You will probably only ever find him on Hasbro Pulse or eBay. One more thing I should mention about that Shattered Glass Blurr. If you order him off of Hasbro Pulse while he's available, you'll get a comic. It just covers a brief little story about him. I believe in this one he's hunting down Starscream, and he and him have a nice little fight. I would not mind having a full comic book collection, but I'm not every single Shattered Glass figure they have right now anyway is piquing my interest. I mean, Jetfire maybe, and if they ever do any more Decepticons, I'll probably grab one. But at the moment, to my knowledge, there are no other Shattered Glass figures readily available that I'm interested in. Except for one I already have, which I will review another time. The Shattered Glass Starscream, so look forward to that. Well, anyway, this is this has been the Transformers Legacy Velocitron / IDW Blur and the Shattered Glass Blur. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button, leave a nice comment, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.